Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Intelligence Racing League for round 17 of the championship. Things really starting to hot up now. 3 races remaining, 2 drivers in with a chance, and what could be very importantly, only one of those racing now. Daniel is here just as is having to miss today, so it is a big chance for the Alfa Romeo driver to extend his lead in the championship and get one hand on the INL Division 1 trophy. And also, of course, that's £20 PSN bonus. Welcome to round 17. Welcome to the Russian Grand Prix around the streets of the Sochi Olympic Park. Last time out in Spain, it was a win for Daniel, his 3rd of the season, tying him with Justas for the most wins. The Lithuanian in the Racing Point managed to get a 2nd position, and it was a 3rd podium in a row for his teammate, Mr. Pop XL. So those 3, as they finished in the race, are the top 3 in the championship. Daniel on 169 points. Justas is on 155. Mr. Pop XL, he's on 105 points. So mathematically, can win the title. Realistically, though, he's going to need an absolute miracle to have any real chance of winning the championship. He's looking a lot better, though, for the Racing Point team in the Constructors. Despite him being the sole Racing Point driver tonight, Daniel is the sole Alfa Romeo driver tonight. So they're 75 points ahead. If that gap is 89 points at the end of today, Racing Point will have won the Constructors' Championship, and a testament to really the consistency that both of the drivers have shown. Everyone going out on the soft tyres for now, apart from Bullet Boy. He's in the pits on the mediums around what is not the easiest circuit. I think it's fair to say, definitely not the easiest circuit in Formula 1. Very tricky indeed just to get it absolutely nailed on. Very easy to invalidate your laps around this track, and I'm sure we will see plenty of invalidated lap times during this qualifying session. We've got 16 drivers here at the moment. It is hoped that Thomas will be joining us partway through the session. We know he's a quick driver, having taken a win earlier in the season in Italy, so hopefully he will be able to join us, and then we'll have to see what could happen in this race. It's going to be very tricky. It looks as though we've got overcast conditions for the qualifying session. Hopefully, though, it stays dry. We'll have to see who can take an advantage and who could possibly even take a victory. Will it be someone new? Will it probably be someone different for last week? Because Justas is the only driver to have taken consecutive wins so far with those 3 wins earlier on this season. But let's follow Daniel around then in the Alfa Romeo. It's only a short run to turn 1, but unlike most other tracks, turn 1 is just a flat-out right-hander. Turn 2 is where you'll see plenty of action on the first lap. Heavy braking zone and a very tricky corner to get right. This long left-hander at turn 3 puts a lot of pressure on those right-hand tyres. The front right especially takes an absolute hammering through that turn, and you're quickly into the 90-degree right-hander at turn 4, headed up to another 90-degree right-hander just as you start the 2nd sector here of turn 5. All about having good traction and confidence in your car. Slight kink at turn 6 leads you into the braking zone of turn 7, a faster corner than you think when you initially look at it, and this double left-hander at 8 and 9. Very tricky to make sure you don't run out too wide and you can't hit that curb on the inside as well. Then turn 10, important to get a good exit through here as it leads you onto a DRS zone through the long curve of turn 11. This long right-hander quickly becomes a little left-hander at turn 12 where you have to brake and steer for turn 13. A very tricky braking zone for those not using anti-lock brakes. Then this twisty final part of the lap. Lots of slow, fiddly corners as he's come through 13, 14. Now the chicane at 15 and 16. Getting ready to finish the lap. Pit lane entry there on your right-hand side. The final 2 right-handers at 17 and then turn 18. And it's a quick squirt on the throttle as you head towards the finish line. Daniel sets a 129.633. Very clean lap from him. Menno de Bever going in just behind for now. Connor ditching his lap, deciding to head into the pits, as does McCrew. Are we going to see anyone else set a time then? Ivan Bakker, he's coming around the final couple of corners now in the Red Bull. What's it going to be for him? He goes into 3rd place for now. The next car that comes across the line, one of the Mercedes, they are starting a flying lap, and that is Janetsky on the mediums. He's a reserve driver, as is NER Ace and XL Ryan, and we will go on board with NER Ace then because he's a driver we haven't seen and he's invalidated his lap at this moment in time, so he won't be he'll probably be heading into the pits. Very long lap here around the Russian Grand Prix circuit. First used in 2014, the year of I believe, the year of the Russian Winter Olympics, of course. 5.848 kilometres, one of the longest circuits on the Formula 1 calendar. 27 laps they will have here, so the same as you have at Suzuka and Italy. And it's fair to say this track probably not loved as much as those rather historic circuits. A lot of the drivers do find it quite difficult. Bullet Boy with a 1:31.352 for now. He goes into 6th place on a set of those medium tyres. Asakomi coming through the final couple of corners. He's invalidated his lap, and he's found it really tricky all of a sudden. Had a great start to the season with a podium. 27 points he got in his first 3 races. He's had 2 points in the 7 since then, and 9th place in America being his only top 10 finish after his first 3 races. He'll be hoping he can put in a good performance in the Ferrari tonight. He is 10th in the championship on 34 points at the moment. He's got Thomas just behind him on 29 points, I should say. So he's got Thomas just behind him on 25, and Thomas should be appearing in this qualifying session. Will only be allowed to do an installation lap, as we've seen before. Does tend to be a bit tricky, this game, at times when you see flying laps in qualifying. Hopefully though we won't get a repeat of any of the lobby glitches that we had last time out. Now Asakomi's just going straight on there, so it doesn't look like he's heading back towards the pits. VRT Law, is this a flying lap? Oh, that was a flying lap, and that's what I mean about that curb at turn 8 and 9. It is very tricky indeed, that little sausage curb on the left hand side. If you take far too much curb into turn 8, you fly over the top of it. Very easy to then head straight off. If there's another car in the way, pretty much goodbye for them as well. So hopefully we won't see any incidents. Can see safety cars around here. Turn 2 especially on lap 1 is a very tricky corner. In fact, that entire first sector you see cars battling, so don't be surprised if we see the odd broken front wing, and that could really decide the way this race goes. If you can keep it nice and clean on the first lap, you could be in good stead indeed to put yourself into a good performance. So VRT Law comes into the pits, yet to set a lap time, and he actually had another fairly decent race last time out. 10th place for him. His best finish so far was a 6th in the race before at Italy, so he'll be hoping for a good performance in Russia, and Haas could really do with him putting in a good performance. They're currently bottom of the constructors on 18 points. Renault, who only have one of their full-time drivers here tonight, on 9 points ahead of them on 26. On board then with LR McCrew, a reserve in the McLaren. Got his first points of the season in what was his first race of the season last time around, although I do believe, sorry, he's not a reserve anymore. He's now actually a full-time driver for the McLaren team, so he'll be hoping to help Menno de Bever up in the championship. Menno still with a chance of getting 3rd position in the championship. Menno is on 86 points, 19 behind Mr. Pop, who's currently in that 3rd place, and then you've got Connor a further 5 points behind, who despite his pace that he's shown, his clear pace, has only had 1 win, and that is a big wobble there from McCrew, just getting caught in the dirty air of Menno. They're trying to get the slipstream strategy working absolutely perfectly, and I think it's fair to say it didn't there. 10 minutes remaining in the session. We've still only had 6 drivers setting a lap time, so a lot of drivers leaving it right until the last minute to get the best possible running in this session. McCrew bouncing over the curb there in car number 2 in the McLaren. Stoffel Van Dorn-esque as Connor goes fastest with a 1:29.508, showing that pace that we were on about earlier. This hasn't been the cleanest lap from McCrew. Lap time kind of shows that. 4th place in the end, 4/10 of a second behind Connor. If you hadn't have made that mistake with that slipstream, that could well have challenged for the front row of the grid. So any drivers that do have both of their cars here, maybe the AlphaTauris will be able to do it. I think, looking at this, it's only AlphaTauri who actually have both of their full-time drivers here, apart from McLaren. So it will be interesting to see if we do get any slipstream strats from the different teams throughout this session. Nohobizi dives into the pits then. He's got his teammate not too far behind him. Daniel on an outlap, no longer holding on to that pole position slot at this moment in time. Still lots of drivers yet to set a time. Skeletor Star, he has invalidated his lap, so he might be heading into the pits this time around. So, whoa, and he's going to have to head into the pits now, I think, for a new set of tyres. That will have not done him any favours whatsoever there. Skeletor Star, just too much speed coming through turn 15. Very easy to spin the car round, as you saw there, and he'll have cooked those rears as Ryan has left the session. If he rejoins, that could cause a as we saw last week. All kinds of trouble, but hopefully everything behaves itself. Now, we'll see what Menno can do. Has he had a slipstream from his teammate? Almost certainly. And if he's had a clean lap, this could do enough to put him on pole position. The highest placed person in the championship yet to get a win. 2 second places in Singapore and Austria. His best results. Can he get provisional pole here? No, he cannot. Splits Connor and Daniel. A very good lap indeed from Menno, though. Puts him into second position for now. Ivan Bakker goes up into fourth. Mr. Pop comes across the line. It's not showing that he's set a time, so that must have been an outlap then for Mr. Pop. We'll see if it pops him up any further up the order when he does get his run done. Bullet Boy on an outlap at the moment. Let's watch Daniel though. He's up on his time at the moment, and another driver finding it really hard through turn 15. A big slide on himself there, and he decides to go into the pit. So Daniel, another driver struggling through turn 15. A couple of cars have been caught out there throughout this session. We saw Skeletal Star go all the way around as NER Ace decides to come into the pit. Skeletal Star went all the way around there and really cost himself a big chance of a good one. What can Babakakap do though? He's on the medium tyres. Bullet Boy's best lap was on the mediums, so 131.840. Not too surprising to see the Alpha Tauri driver go towards the bottom. His run of points, his fantastic run of points that he'd had since the Mexican Grand Prix of 7 races in the points for Babakakap came to an end last time out, so he'll be hoping to rectify that here with 7 minutes remaining in qualifying. It's Connor, then Menno de Beva, then Daniel fastest. Afternoon to Jagos who is watching. Hopefully you're going to see a really good race here. You could see a race. If Daniel gets a victory, it's going to be almost impossible, really, for anyone to stop him claiming that championship. Janetsky looks as though he's either on a second warm-up lap or he's already made a mistake because he's just cruising his way round. Now Bullet Boy finding big improvements, as you would expect him to do after setting his first time on the medium tyres. Where will this put him? At the moment, oh, that's a bit of a slide. I was going to say, at the moment, it looks like he's on for a high 129, low 1 minute 30. Not the cleanest final couple of corners, though. He's definitely lost a couple of attempts there. In the end, does go into the 129s with a 129.965. Currently puts him on the third row, just behind LR McCrew. Asakomi coming around the final couple of corners now. He's invalidated his lap, so won't be improving this time around. VRT Law, there's another driver who invalidated his time earlier on. Let's see how he can do round the final few corners. The drivers do seem to be overheating their tyres slightly. Very lucky for that not to count as an invalidation, and this will be a 130.747. Puts him into 10th place. Slowest of everyone who's set a time at the moment on the soft tyres. 5 minutes 26 seconds remaining, and most of the drivers either heading out onto their last runs or thinking about their final runs now, as Asakomi very wild there on his run back to the pits. And let's see what McCrew, in fact no, let's see what Connor can do. Provisional pole sitter at the moment on a 129.508. The closest anyone's been able to get is Menno, and we know he did that with assistance of a slipstream from his teammate, and we weren't sure whether Connor did have any help or not, and he's 9 thousandths down on his personal best at the moment, so this could easily be another fantastic lap from Connor in that Williams. Not in a chance with a championship, and he's not in a chance with improving. He is invalidated this time around, so will he carry on pushing, or will he decide it's just worth heading back into the pits and maybe saving the tyres for if you need them in the race, or saving any ERS and going for another run? It looks like he's still pushing, maybe just to lay a bit of a marker down to show what he could have done. And yes, he's quarter of a second up at the moment is Connor, so this would have been a very good lap indeed. McCrew has invalidated as well, so we'll just follow Connor around here. Just seems to be getting a bit of practice to see what he can do in this car, but this lap looking though it would have been a 129.2, 129.3. We're not going to find out though, as he does indeed come into the pit. The AlphaTauri of Skeletal Star backing off. He after invalidating his lap, yet to set a lap time, had his first return to the grid for the first time in a while. Last race, it was his first appearance since the Japanese Grand Prix, and unfortunately for him, it was another DNF. Hasn't reached the finish since round 1 of the reboot in Canada, so he'll be hoping for better luck here today. Harry on a flying lap at the moment. He's a 10th up on his personal best. Purple in that middle sector, so must be losing a lot of time to Connor in sector 1 if he can nail these final few corners. He's not far off Ivan Bakker in 4th place. Could we even see him, if he does get everything hooked up, challenge the front row of the grid? Harry, we know the Mercedes had great qualifying pace in Austria. We're not going to get to see as much of it here though, as he does come into the pits, and it is very quiet out on track. All of a sudden, with 3 minutes remaining, a lot quieter than you would expect it to be. You'd imagine now would be when the cars start to fire up and they all start to head out onto the circuit for this race. So, who is on pole position at the moment? It is Connor. Is he going to stay there? We'll wait and see. Menno is up on his time. He is up on his personal best, despite not getting a slipstream down towards turn 12 and 13. He is on a personal best lap at the moment. If he nails this final sector, could get into the 129.4s and could provisionally take pole position away from Connor and give himself a great chance of getting that first victory. The sun's starting to come out here in Russia. What's it going to be from the McLaren? It is good enough. It's an identical lap time to the 1,000th of a second, but we believe the game does go to 10,000ths of a second underneath that. Connor might be a bit miffed because according to F1 rules, he should be on pole. That is Menno de Beva at the moment who is fastest, but for how much longer is that going to be the case? Daniel improving at the moment. He's up slightly through the first sector. What's his time going to be as he comes towards the second sector point in that Alfa Romeo? A win today would put him a colossal 39 points ahead in the championship, and he's more than far enough ahead at the moment. Nearly 2 tenths, a bit deep perhaps, into 13, not getting the optimum run through turn 14 that he will have wanted. One of the Renaults coming across the line now. I think that is XL Ryan just heading to start a lap, I believe, or maybe Nufflebeezy. Should say just heading to start a lap. What's it going to be from Daniel? Can he take pole position? Can the championship leader take pole position? He can indeed. 1:29.386, a quarter of a second up on his personal best. Absolutely fantastic time from him, really putting him in good stead at the moment. Nufflebeezy, he has invalidated. All the cars seem to be on the same part of the track at the moment, and a few of them are going to have to get a move on here. Nufflebeezy has retired from the session, as has Mr. Pop, who won't set a lap time. We've still got 4 drivers who haven't set a time, and 2 of them won't be doing, Mr. Pop and Nufflebeezy. So this could all get very interesting in the final stages here. Menno de Beva will just be cruising back towards the pits now. He's currently in second place, but we know Connor has got the potential to just improve a tiny bit. Only needs an extra 1,000th of a second. And there we go. Menno does retire from the session. Who is going to be then first driver on a lap and last driver across the line? It will be NER Ace, who will just run out of time to set another lap after this. So he'll be the first man to set a checkered flag, making his debut this season with just a couple of races to go. And if you want to sign up for INL Season 3, it is moving to Friday nights and sign-ups are open now. So make sure to check out the Discord, as NER Ace was nearly checking out the barriers there through 15 and 16. A big slide, not the first driver we've seen do that throughout this qualifying session. Checkered flag is out. Ivan Bakker is in the wall somewhere, and that is 8th place. A very good job there from NER Ace. There is Ivan Bakker. Well, there's Skeletor Star, who's actually had a spin, I should say. So Ivan Bakker out of the session. Skeletor Star won't be improving on his time. What can Connor do? As I think Skeletor's trying to get back out on track without getting in anyone's way. Harry, sorry, Janetsky, we should say, he's invalidated his lap time. So Connor, if he keeps it nice and clean, what can he do through the middle sector? This will give us a clue as to whether we are going to see the time threatened at the top. And he has gone purple. He is flying at the moment. Asakomi, he just needs a clean lap here. Oh, and he's invalidated. A clean lap would have got him ahead of Mr. Pop. In the end, 15th is the best he's going to be able to manage. It looks so as if Williams is going to be on pole position. A clean final sector will be good enough for Connor. He rounds the final couple of corners out of turn 18, heads towards the finish line. It's a 1:29.277. The Williams is on pole position for now. VRT Law goes into 11th place. Harry going around the final couple of corners. Can he move himself further up the order? Indeed he can. 4th place. A bit of a slide across the line. McCrew isn't improving, so he's going to stay in his position. that it's another fantastic qualifying from Connor. When he qualifies well, he really does seem to race well, and he's going to be starting from pole position this afternoon for the Russian Grand Prix. Daniel in second place. That will do for him, as he basically has a free shot at extending his championship lead. Menno de Beva is in third, Harry fourth, Ivan Bakker in fifth place. 5 different teams in the top 5, separated by half a second. McCrew is 6th, Bullet Boy 7th, NER Race, good job on debut to get an 8th position. Janetsky and Ryan round out the 5th row of the grid. VRT Law will have fresh choice of tyres, as will the AlphaTauris of Baraka Cap and Skeletal Star, and Mr. Pop, Asakome and Nufflebeezy all failing to set a lap time. That is what I said about this circuit. Track limits cause a lot of problems around here, so this could be a lot of penalties. Expect to see a lot of penalties. Thankfully, we've got the game update now, so we can see how many penalties everyone has got, because we are going to be needing to keep an eye on it. That just could cause a little bit of trouble around the streets of Sochi. Let us know who you guys think is going to take a victory. Is it going to be a second win of the season for Connor? Only 2 drivers have taken multiple wins so far, and that is Daniel and Justaz on 3 wins each, even though Justaz hasn't won since round 3 of the season. He had that fantastic start where we thought the championship, after 4 rounds, we thought the championship, crazily, was probably already looking as though it was almost sorted. He had 90 points. Daniel was the next highest driver on 48. Daniel has really turned it around, though, since that Singapore Grand Prix. In the last 6 places, he's only finished behind Justaz once, and with Justaz not being here tonight, is a fantastic chance for the Dutchman in the Alfa Romeo to really take a big lead in this championship. Soon we'll be seeing what tyres everyone has gone for. We know the softs for the top 10 drivers. Will we see some alternate strategies from some of those lower down the grid? I'm almost certainly expecting us to be able to. We just see now what tyres everyone outside the top 10 is on. They pull away for the formation lap, and there we go. Mediums for 11th to 15th. Nufflebeezy is going for the soft, so I wonder whether he's just hoping to go really fast at the start. And if there's a safety car, maybe going onto the hards might work for him. We'll have to wait and see. He's going to have to make his way up through the field, though, in the first few laps. Won't want to get stuck behind those ahead of him, though there is some fast cars just ahead of him, especially this man. Couple of podiums in the last 2 races for Mr. Pop. 14th position. He's going to have to make good use of those DRS zones on the run down towards turn 2 and into that tricky braking zone that we mentioned earlier, turn 12 and turn 13, where in 2015 Carlos Sainz had an absolutely horrendous accident in the barriers. Thankfully, it came out unscathed, but a big crash into the wall there. Mr. Pop will be hoping that he doesn't have any trouble with accidents, as will all the drivers, because if there's a lot of penalties around here, the safety car late on in the race could cause a lot of problems for those who do find themselves on the wrong sides of the stewards. And if you want to check out some more INL action, all the previous races are uploaded to the channel, of course, and you can check the INL Division 2 action. That is on live now with, I think, our usual D1 driver rotation taking you through the action there. So he's making the transition from the cockpit to the comms box for 1 race only. His teammate, though, definitely holding the fort pretty well for Williams. Connor on pole position. Daniel in second. Can't win the championship today. Can stop Racing Point winning the Constructors, which looks as though it is going to be the case. That all looks as though it will be heading on at least next week for Abu Dhabi. And will we have a championship showdown in the drivers or the constructors? 2 weeks' time it will be the Brazilian Grand Prix around Interlagos. So make sure you are there for that one, because that will be one that you do not want to miss on the 12th of December. And it's Connor and Daniel on the front row of the grid. Menno, Harry, Ivan, McCrew, Bullet Boy. Well, Mr. Pop's the only other person on this grid to have won a race so far this season. So there's a big chance maybe for some of these others, like Menno and Harry and Ivan Bakker, to perhaps take their first win of the season. Those are the predicted pit stop strategies, and expect to see more soft to hards than softs to mediums in this race. All the cars now lined up, and hopefully we are going to get some racing underway then as we wait for the lights to come on here at Russia. There we go. We have got 5 lights here in Russia. And we are underway, and it is a decent start then from Connor, getting away well. Daniel's absolutely hooked up the second part of the start though. We're going to go 3 wide through turn 1 straight away. So it is Daniel in the lead, Menno in second, Harry now getting ahead of Connor, who just got a bit too much wheel spin on that second phase of the start. Daniel keeps the lead, Menno, there's contact there I think between Connor and Harry, I believe that was, and McCrew now trying to go all the way around the outside of Harry. Ivan Backer is in 5th. Connor, the pole sitter, has dropped down to 7th position as he's now battling with NER Ace, who's trying to hold off round the outside. An absolute nightmare of a start. In the end, it looked as though the initial getaway was pretty good. It all just went to pot on that second part of the start. NER Ace is in 8th place, a bit of a skid further in the background, not sure who that was for, as NER now finds himself way off the circuit. Might have already got a warning for that. XL Ryan on the back of Bullet by... Oh, we've got a yellow flag in the background, and that is, I think, VRT Law has made contact with the wall. He's actually lost both of his front wing end plates, and Skeletor Star had a big moment. Be interested to see whether he has got any damage. Looks as though he's safe for now. Mr. Pop's got ahead of Asakome. He's having big contact with Knuckle Beezy, who's in the wall, out of the race. And that could well be a safety car here on lap 1. Indeed it is a safety car then. So, Daniel's fantastic start, all for nothing in the end. We saw a bit of contact there between Mr. Pop and Knuckle Beezy. I'm not sure what caused that, if anything caused it, that is to say. And we are under safety car conditions. Is anyone going to dive into the pits on lap 1? Indeed they are. Janetsky in the Mercedes comes into the pits, and this is a great chance for any of those drivers that got damage on lap 1. VLT Law being one of them. Skeletor Star doesn't have any damage. We were quite unsure whether that was the case. So Janetsky with... Not sure if he had any damage, but he goes on to the mediums. We know VLT Law did have damage, so it makes perfect sense for him. And Mr. Pop into the pits as well. He has also got front wing damage, probably from that contact with Knuckle Beezy. Will be interesting to see if the stewards have anything to say about that, if it does indeed get reported to the stewards. And VLT Law on the hard tyres, he's going to see if he can stretch them as far as possible. Getting to the end might be a bit of a struggle, but should definitely help them out. We are on lap 2. Ignore what it says about us being on lap 3, and also ignore what it says about Daniel being in 5th, 4th, 3rd place. I thought it was going to go all the way up to 1st then. Ignore what it says because he is the race leader. Menno is in 2nd, and then Harry in 3rd, McCrew 4th, Ivan Backer in 5th, and our pole sitter Connor, after what didn't look like too bad of an initial getaway, don't know if he just bogged down, got too much wheel spin, was 4th by the first braking zone at turns 2. Then it all seemed to go wrong. He had a bit of contact with another driver, dropped down to 8th place. He's worked his way back up to 6th, but that is a long way off where he started. He has managed to lose 5 positions there, the biggest loser on lap 1, even more so than Janetsky and Law, who have both been into the pit. Biggest winner, Asakome in the Ferrari, as he looks for his first point scoring finish in a while. He's hoping for a good race. He's currently 11th. Watch out for him on those mediums. McCrew gaining 2 positions as well. I think a bit of a beneficiary between the squeeze we saw between Ivan, Harry and Connor. McCrew fighting his way up there. So McLaren a bit far back in the Constructors' Championship. They are out of the battle for the Constructors' victory. 113 points. Well, no, actually, mathematically they're not outside the battle. Realistically, they probably are. Mathematically, McLaren have still got a chance, and they're only 38 points behind Alfa Romeo. So a good performance tonight could well put them in good stead to perhaps get 2nd in the Constructors, with McCrew being in 4th, Menno being in 2nd. But championship leader Daniel, an absolutely fantastic start for him. The only downside in his point of view was that the safety car came out, because he'd already broken that 1 second window. So the safety car, not good news for him whatsoever. Not too bad though at the moment for him. He'll be looking very good if things stay as they are, and of course it is extremely early stages, but if things stay as they are for now, it would be a 39-point lead for Daniel in the championship with 52 points remaining. So he'd be in a really good spot to take it in Abu Dhabi. Still a long way to go. Very tricky here to be leading on the safety car restart, because we've already seen the power of the slipstream. It is a long run down towards turn 2. as you go flat out through turn 1 into that first braking zone at turn 2. It is an extremely long run towards there, and you can be sure that Menno, Harry, McCrew, Ivan, basically everyone will be enjoying the slipstream, except the race leader Daniel, who is just going to have to sit behind and try and catch these guys. Try and catch them unawares when the safety car comes in. We believe it will be at the end of this lap. All the field has now caught up. You can see VRT Law, despite having that damage, not in too bad of a position at the moment. He's just got to try and hang on those hard tyres. Maybe another safety car would give him a chance to change them. Just have to see how this race is going to pan out now. Shame for Knuckle Beezy. I know he was hoping for another possibility at scoring some points, but he is out of the race. Hopefully he'll be coming back strong next time at Abu Dhabi. All the drivers now just warming their tyres up. This is going to be harder for those on the mediums. The harder tyres do take longer to warm up, especially once they've had a couple of laps into them, but those outside the top 10 on the grid, so basically those now outside the top 9, the tyres were fresh when they started the race, so obviously they don't have that disadvantage as much as they would have done if the safety car would have done a bit longer, because those tyres only really managing to do 3/4 at best of a racing lap. And you can see Daniel really working those front Pirellis at this moment in time to just get some temperature in them to make sure that he can get the turning he needs when he bombs it any time now. He's waiting a while. He doesn't want to give anyone a good run here, and there we go. He has gone. Right, fantastic restart there from Daniel. He's planned that absolutely perfectly. Great start from him before we get under green flag again for 24 more laps of racing here at Sochi. Great start from Daniel. He's got away from Menno, who isn't really under too much pressure from Harry at this moment in time. The first driver who might be under a bit of pressure is McCrew from Ivan Bakker, but in the end Ivan is just a bit too far behind, and he's got Connor starting to look to see if he can maybe put any moves on. Baraka dropped off ever so slightly, so those softs definitely warming up the best, but I promised action into turn 2 and I seem to have disappointed all you guys. It's as we were then after the safety car restart. Daniel in the lead. Mr. Pop's gone for a move on Janetsky all the way around the outside at turn 3, gets it done into the braking zone at turn 4, and that's what you need to do when you're on the soft tyres. That's what Knuckle Beezy was trying when they had the contact. Now can Mr. Pop work his way up ahead of Skeletor, Asakomi and Baraka, get himself onto that top 10. McCrew looking very close to the back of Harry at the moment as Skeletor Star becomes our first driver to pick up a 3-second time penalty. I think we'll be seeing a lot of black and white flags on that left-hand side of the screen by the end of this race. Be very surprised if we don't. McCrew still all over the back of Harry, just not close enough at the moment. Bullet Boy, bit of a run here on NERAs. Can he go all the way around the outside at turn 13? That's not a conventional passing manoeuvre, but he has made it stick. What a move there by Bullet Boy to make that work. And XL Ryan, as NERAs has run off the track. Oh, and he's just spun it round. NERAs has gone around there, was trying to hold it off on the outside, found himself on the dirty part of the racetrack, no grip whatsoever, and he has dropped to the back. And Mr. Pop, oh, he's done it as well. Both racing points have had a spin, but both somehow get away without any damage. They are, though, at the back of the field. Daniel leading this race, so 0.7 seconds ahead of Menno de Bever, who has pulled out a full second over Harry. These top two getting away at the moment, and then you've got McCrew, Ivan, Connor, Bullet Boy and Ryan in a bit of a crew. Q containing McCrew. Q behind Harry at this moment in time as Mr. Pop becomes another driver to pick up a 3-second time penalty. We will check those penalties towards the end of the race and try and work out what it means for the result of this race, because it could have big repercussions if we do get any more safety cars. But you can just see this battling at the moment, and for Harry it is really important that he can get within a second of Menno de Bever, or next time around when DRS gets activated, McCrew, not quite sure actually. No, he will be able to use it, won't he? He will be able to use it into turn 1 because the DRS activation point is after the intersection point, is after the start finish line, so he will have DRS into turn 1. So it's really important for Harry that he gets onto the back of the other McLaren as soon as physically possible. Otherwise, it could just be a bit of a struggle for him to defend, especially into turn 2 from McCrew. Probably not from everyone else though, who will be in the DRS train, and that's what this game is famous for. We come on to lap 6 and DRS will be active this time around. Menno's just within that all important 1 second, so that's going to be a big help for him as the flap opens on his rear wing. It's open on his teammate as well, who's just not probably close enough to have it to get a move done. Is Connor close enough though to Ivan Bakker? They've both got DRS. Nothing doing for now. If we are going to see an undercut, it will be for someone behind Harry, I think. McCrew, Ivan, one of the CPI boys, and he's thinking about going all the way around the outside of Ivan here into turn 4. Very opportunistic move by Connor, all the way around the outside through turn 3, gives him the inside line into turn 4. He now takes that 5th position. Don't count him out for a really strong result in this race. He tends to go better and better and better as the races go on, and he's looking really good at the moment, and that is a huge slide from McCrew. Very well held indeed. Absolutely huge moment there from McCrew. He stays in 4th position for now. That's just giving Harry a slight bit of breathing space and put McCrew under a bit of pressure from Connor, and we know he's not scared of making a move in an unconventional point, but McCrew's got such a good run here on Harry. He's going to have to go all the way around the outside on the brakes. Can he get it done? He runs a bit deep, and you're going to have to watch out for Connor here, who just gives McCrew a slight tap on the back of the car. It's a good job simulation damage isn't on, otherwise that would have been a broken front wing and possibly a puncture for the McLaren, but they get away from it for now. You can just see how much this battling is costing them. These guys now 2.5 seconds off the second place battle, as another opportunistic move by a Williams on Ivan. That is now Bullet Boy up into 6th position. Ivan drops into 7th and could find himself under threat from Exa Lion any time soon. Now, again, McCrew just not close enough to Connor to really get the move done. Are there going to be any battles further down the field? Skeletor Star on the back of Janetsky, but he's got Mr. Pop on those soft tyres, recovering from that earlier spin. Down the inside he goes. He is up into 12th. The only 2 drivers to have a penalty so far, swapping around. And Janetsky has dropped back from Baraka and Asakome, who are doing an okay job at the moment, it's got to say, on those medium tyres. And 9th and 10th, 3 seconds behind those on the softs. They are 3 seconds ahead of Janetsky, so they are looking fairly decent at the moment. Depending on how long they can go into this race, do not count them out for a good result, which I'm sure both drivers will feel they would want. These two are very close to each other in the championship at this moment in time. Baraka is only 5 points ahead of Asakome, as we have another penalty there for Mr. Pop, and we've had another spin for his teammates for today. NER Ace has had a spin. Just needs to cool those tyres down ever so slightly, because he could very easily find himself having another spin as McCrew again tries to get past Harry. Again can't get the move done. And again Connor swarming all over the back of the McLaren, ready to pounce if we see a slight mistake. But all this defending is just holding these drivers up, and I think in the next lap or two we will see one of them think it is worth coming into the pits to try and do something different. Because why not? They could cost themselves a podium if they stay behind. You can see how much they're weaving on the straight, and to be fair, that's not been the best run from McCrew out of the final corner. Mr. Pop retires from the session in the pits there, so I'm not quite sure what has happened. Connor down the inside into turn 2. Gets the move done. He is up into 4th. He is not messing about at all. Now Bullet Boy is going to try and go all the way around the outside here. Can he get the move done? On the brakes, there's a bit of contact between the two of them, and McCrew's round. Oh, big shunt. Huge accident. Bullet Boy, Ivan Bakker out. Safety car is out. Wow. I was not expecting that. And this, we could see quite a few pit stops here. So I think that was just caused that there was a bit of contact on the apex from McCrew and Bullet Boy. That caused McCrew to lose the car ever so slightly. I think he's come back across, then made contact with Bullet Boy, who's had a big accident, and Ivan Bakker, definite innocent party, just came on the scene at the wrong time. Absolutely huge accidents. We've now had 4 retirements from this race, and this shows Mr. Pop why he should have just carried on, because there's only 12 cars left. He could have picked up a point here, and you never know what's going to happen, because we weren't expecting any big crash at that point. Safety car is out. Will we see these front runners come into the pits to put a set of hard tyres on and get them towards the end of the race? And yep, we are doing pit stops coming. Daniel and Menno into the pits. Harry, Connor, pretty much everyone I think will be coming in at the moment, except those on the medium tyres. They are going to be staying out just that bit longer. So Babakakap and Asakomi stay out. Janetsky stays out. Skeletal Star, he decides he is coming into the pit, and we are seeing medium tyres, in fact, not the hard tyres that I was perhaps expecting to see, so I do apologise. It is medium tyres on all of these drivers. VRT Law has stayed out as well, and he will be in 4th place. So Daniel comes out still in the lead. Connor has jumped Harry in the pit stop, so I'm not sure if Harry had a bit of damage at all. Not sure if there's a bit of damage there from Harry. It's such a shame though for Bullet Boy, Ivan Backer and McCrew, who's broken his front wing. I think in that incident just all came together at the wrong point. McCrew's out in 10th place after it was looking like it was a possible podium chance for him. At least so he's still in the race. Ivan Backer and Bullet Boy are out of the race, and it's another bit of bad luck there for Bullet Boy, and it's another bit of bad luck for Bullet Boy, and it's another race for Ivan Backer where he's shown some good pace this year, yet he's only had one podium. I'm not quite sure why, because at different times his pace has definitely shown that he deserves a bit more than that. But that's the situation he's in. The situation we are in the race is that this man Babakakap leads on lap 9 from Asakomi, Janetsky and VRT Law. Daniel, though, doesn't have to pit again. He's in 5th place on a fresh set of mediums with Menno, Connor, Harry, XL Ryan, McCrew, Skeletal Star, who's on the softs, and NER Ace. The rest of the field, still 2/3 of the race to go, and we've already seen 4 retirements. Don't count out as seeing a few more in this INL Division 1 race. So these mediums comfortably making it towards the end now. Will the safety car be coming in on this lap? The lights haven't gone out yet, and normally they have done by now, so I think the safety car will be staying out on circuit, so we will be getting another lap. There's no worries whatsoever about the medium tyres now not making it towards the end of the race. That should, I say should, be fairly comfortable for all these drivers to get those mediums towards the end of the race. Oh, we've seen a pit stop, have we? Yes, Asakomi. Surely if you were coming in the lap before, was the one to do it, but Asakomi into the pits now. He's going to have to go onto a set of the hard tyres if he wants to get to the end. You have to use 2 types of tyre. Let's not forget, and yes, Asakomi into the pits. He'll be a long way off the back of the field. This is, yeah. I'm not sure why you wouldn't pit on lap 1 under the safety car, if I'm being perfectly honest. He hasn't done. He will come out in 12th place, and he's going to have to catch his way up to the back of the field, as it almost looked like Babakakap was having a bit of a moment there on his medium tyres. Now, before the safety car came out, he was showing a bit better pace along with Asakomi than Janetsky and VRT Law and some of these others. Well, yeah, he's on the harder, well, he's on the older tyres, I should say. VRT Law's on the hards. He's the only one out of these front 3 that are out of sequence from the rest of the field that are on the hard tyres. Janetsky has already pitted once, so has slightly fresher mediums. Babakakap, he's the one you'd expect to struggle the most with tyre warm-up, so it shouldn't be too hard for Daniel, Menno, Connor, Harry, Ryan, McCrew, and Skeletor, and Ace as well, to probably work their way past them fairly early on. We do have a quick check of the penalty situation at the moment. Skeletal Star does have 3 seconds. I'd be very surprised if there isn't any driver in this field who doesn't have a few warnings, especially by the end of the race, keeping it clean. If we see another safety car, I mentioned this during the first one, if you manage to keep it clean, that could be the difference between yourself getting on the podium or scoring no points whatsoever. We've seen that happen a couple of times already this season, where late penalties have really cost you. And already you can see them getting ready for the tyre warm-up, because we're about to get a message from the race director. Safety car in this lap, and then we will have 17 more laps to get underway. Now, Babakakap, this isn't the situation he's used to, leading the field round after a safety car. We saw Daniel get the restart absolutely perfect earlier. Hopefully we don't see any contact under the safety car, because that is a slam dunk 5-second penalty, which they should, if they don't need to pit again, they should be able to get that removed in the stewards. So, here we go then. We're back racing once again by the end of this lap. And when will Babakakap go for it? When will he put the hammer down? He's changing his way through the gears. He's going a bit later than Daniel. He's going a lot later than Daniel. He is going a lot later than Daniel. It looks like he has gone for it now. We are back racing once again, and I'm not sure that's worked out as well as he would have hoped. Babakakap in the lead of this race, and as we get back to green flag from Janetsky. Daniel all over the back already of VRT Law on the way down to turn 2. In fact, VRT trying to get a bit of heat into his tyres, nearly ends up taking out Daniel as Menno thinks about sending one up the inside and could have easily lost a part of his front wing. Javi gets multiple warnings and Connor straight down the inside of Menno. He doesn't need a second opportunity to get an overtake done. He takes the next second place in this race. He is in 5th at the moment. Now they've got to try and work their way past Law as quickly as possible. And that was Menno just having a bit too much pace, in fact, under braking on VRT Law. Had to back out of it at the last second. That opened the door for Connor, ever the opportunist. We've seen that already. He stiffs a gap. Usually, he takes it. What could have been if he'd have had a few cleaner races and maybe been in the championship at the start. He's now going to try and go all the way around the outside of VRT Law. He should have way more grip on the exit of the corner and should be able to easily take that place. And Menno now gets past the Haas driver as well. And Daniel all over the back of Janetsky, past Janetsky into second place. And this has been a very good lap from Babakakap on those older media tyres. He was the one I expected to struggle the most. He's not doing too bad at the moment. Skeletor and Ace battling for what is the final points position at the moment. And Ace just gets that position as VRT's dropped a long way down the field here. VRT Law, he's been past by XLI and he's got McCrew getting past a pair of them. What a move by the McLaren driver. If he can keep it clean on the exit, he's not been able to. This is going to be a good battle down the straight here. What an opportunistic move there by McCrew to take that position. Nearly gaining himself 2 places. Ryan got the move done again though, and now McCrew all over the back of him. On the run down into turn 2. Can he get it done on the brakes, on the inside? Ryan just gently eases the door shut, and that's it for McCrew. So he stays in 8th, Ryan in 7th, Ace in 9th. VRT Law on those hard tyres, losing 7 positions on that first green flag lap after the safety car. Not what we would have wanted whatsoever. And Babakakap is still in the lead then, 4 tenths ahead of Daniel. But if he wants to take a 4th victory this season, he might have to get a shift on, because Connor is showing some supreme pace. Thankfully for him though, Connor's still behind Janetsky at this moment in time. I don't think it'll be too long though before we do see a move from the Williams driver on the Mercedes. It might even be this time around as Janetsky picks up a penalty. There goes Connor on the Mercedes, and I think soon, I was about to say soon, we're going to see Daniel do the same thing to Babakakap. But Babakakap, I'm not sure if he used all his ERS down that straight or whatever, or Daniel just a bit slow in a straight line but wasn't able to get the move done. Daniel stays in 2nd, and now there is no car in between himself and Connor, whereas after the start of the race, let's not forget Daniel was leading. Connor was in 8th position at one point before the first safety car came out. He's recovered well. I said don't write him out for a podium. Maybe it's too early to write him off for a win. DRS has enabled them, and this should be fairly straightforward for the Alfa Romeo driver into turn 2 this time around. They're flat out into turn 1. Babakakap stays to the inside line, then he's going to make this as tough as possible. Daniel's got the grip on the brakes though, and gets that move done. He is up into 2nd now. Can Connor do what he's done earlier to so many others? Go all the way around the outside of turn 3 for the inside of turn 4. Gets that position done. He takes 2nd place then from Babakakap, who will now probably quickly start falling down the field. He's got Janetsky behind him. Both of those do need to pit again. And that is now Menno, who's got his way past Javi. So, well, actually, he did that early on, didn't he? I do apologise. Menno could get himself another podium here, his 3rd of the season. And with the way this race is going at the moment, put him in a really good slot to move up into 3rd. Well, not move up into 3rd in the championship, but go just 4 points behind Mr. Pop XL as Janetsky's round wide. That is going to be a straightforward move, even with the DRS open. Menno takes 4th place, and I think Javi will be hoping his teammate lets him by fairly soon. Otherwise, it could get very difficult indeed. Javi seems to have a bit more pace now on this set of medium tyres. Was really struggling on the softs earlier, but can't get the move done on his teammate. Thinks about it into turn 15. That just forces Janetsky wide, so maybe getting the cutback out of 15 into 16 I should say, and then into 17, down the inside he goes, and Harry with the fresher tyres. Not the cleanest move he'll ever do on his teammate. Teammate for the evening, and XL Ryan said thank you very much, and again, not the cleanest move, but it is a move. He takes 6th place. Now, Baraka Cap dropping back from those ahead, doesn't have the DRS, Meadow does, down the inside he goes. 3rd place, thank you very much indeed. Now, oh, Baraka Cap's lost it. Big hit into the wall. I think Meadow just got a bit of wheel spin on exit. Baraka Cap getting caught out. Big spin from him. He now drops down into 11th place, and a virtual safety car then. Virtual safety car on lap 14. Won't make any change to the orders. Everyone had changed past the pits, and it'll be cleared before they get round to the pits. But another interruption by a safety car of some kind, we can say. 3rd one of this race. We've had 2 full ones. Our first virtual one. We've still got half the race to go here. They're only halfway through the halfway lap of the race, so we could still see a lot more action and a lot more virtual safety cars or full safety cars. Hopefully though, we don't see any more retirements, because we are already down them. Are already down to just 12 runners. Oh, and it's a drive-through penalty for XL Ryan for speeding under the safety car, and Harry as well. I just thought I'd check there. Both of them are going to have to serve a drive-through penalty, and that's really going to scupper any chances of a good result for the reserve in the medal. Oh, and that's Janetsky in the wall. He's able to carry on, luckily for him. Able to carry on, but that is big front wing damage for Janetsky. He's going to have to come into the pits. Another set of... Did he start on the mediums? No, he started on the soft. So it will be another set of mediums, but he comes into the pits, as does XL Ryan. Harry just decided to carry on for a bit longer. Lap 15 then of this race. 13 laps to go. A penalty for Baraka Cap speeding in the pit lane. That will get added on to his race time at the end of this race. Change that front wing, of course. But bad news for him. He's going to find it hard to get any decent points, because there's a few drivers down there struggling. So credit to them for carrying on, because I said that earlier about Mr. Pop. He shouldn't have retired, because there's only 12 cars in this race, and he could still have got a good result. And despite a bad start, Connor could still get a really good result here. Lap 15, all over the back of Daniel. He's going to have DRS, so you can see there, he's got 25% more ERS. He can just afford to save that, and maybe just afford to make the move where it counts. Any penalties for these two could really decide the outcome of this race, so hopefully they're able to keep it clean, and hopefully we get a good race-long battle, and maybe, just maybe, can't see them holding each other up, but if they do, Menno, who's sort of in a bit of a lonely 3rd place now, you can just see the McLaren behind, covered up ever so slightly by the timing tower there. Just maybe Menno might be able to get himself involved in this battle. He's yet to have a win this season. Daniel's had 3. Connor looking to become only the 3rd driver this season, alongside Daniel and Justas, to take multiple victories, and he's got 12 laps to figure out where he's going to make the move. Not that around this circuit, it really needs much figuring out, because it is usually turn 2 or turn 13. They're your best opportunities, because you have the DRS on the run down then. So Daniel, can he hold on this lap around? Connor is closing in, just not close enough to really get the move done. Harry staying out again. I think he's going to have to come into the pits this lap around, or definitely next lap, otherwise he'll be disqualified from the race. It's VRT law now. Picks up a time penalty. We're starting to see the black and white flag become a more common theme on the timing screen at this moment in time. Daniel in first, Connor in second for now. Menno, the further 2 seconds back. Harry 1.5 seconds behind him, so he has a penalty. McCrew in fourth, and we said this race could be looking pretty good for the McLaren drivers. They're in a net 3rd and 4th position. That's despite McCrew being involved in that huge accident earlier with Bullet Boy and Ivan Backer. That's what brought out the second safety car. That's what just altered the strategies of a few of these drivers. NER race, despite all his problems earlier, a couple of spins we saw from him. He's in 6th place, Asakomi in 7th. Then you've got VRT Law, Skeletor Star, XL Ryan Janetsky, and Baraka Cap, the final runners. McCrew really closing onto the back of Harry. As we said, he will have to pit. I believe it will have to be this lap. He has to go. McCrew nearly losing it there. Did he make any contact with the wall? If he did, it wasn't heavy contact. He's got away without any damage. I said he was in a net 4th. Not anymore. He was 5th. He stays basically in 5th because Harry comes into the pits and gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Never rains but it pours as Barakakart picks up another one as well. That promotes Asakome up the order. Connor a lot closer than he has been earlier to the back of Daniel. Not able to get the move done. McCrew though, round the outside on Ace. We just caught the tail end of that move. He's back up into 4th place. Will he set off after his teammate? Will he try and get himself a podium here? Well, McCrew, congratulations we should say to him. He's just turned news that he's getting an apprenticeship, so he won't have time to race as much, but he's definitely making the most of his racing at the moment. Up into 4th place, as we've seen Janetsky set a final lap, but unless he finds his way into the points, we won't get anything for that final lap. So definitely a bit of motivation for Janetsky to push as hard as possible and just see if he can maybe get himself into the top 10. The bottom 6 drivers currently having penalties. The top 6 drivers don't have any. McCrew again getting a bit of a wobble on there, and I wonder if Ace can take advantage of that. Not enough ERS to really get close as back at McCrew. You can see there the red light flashing. That happens when you're either in the 0 ERS mode in qualifying all the practice, or if you drop below 10% at any point. So McCrew really having to use that ERS on the straights, and there are a lot of acceleration zones here where you want that extra 150, 160 horsepower from the hybrid system, from the MGU-H and the MGU-K to really get yourself going in this race. And this is a lot closer for Connor. This time he's down the inside with 10 laps to go. Long before we get to turn 2, he takes the lead. The pole sitter back in the lead. I don't even think he got to turn 1 last time around before Daniel had overtaken him at the start of this race. He's now back in the lead. Can he pull away from Daniel to secure that 2nd place? We said McCrew, and we said Menno, sorry, wants 3rd in the championship. So does Connor. He's currently 19 points off that 3rd position, and with Mr. Pop not scoring any, he's in a prime place to take it as Janetsky has retired in the pits. So we're down to just 11 runners, and Harry out of the race as well. He's had a big moment coming out of turn 2 by the looks of things, and that is another safety car. Well. Just when we thought we'd had every twist we could see in this race, that is another safety car. We're down to just 10 runners now. Everyone who's going to finish gets a point. So again, Janetsky, why retire? And that is a huge accident there from Harry. Down to 10 runners. Another safety car. 9 laps to go at the end of this one. And everyone surely now comes into the pits, puts a set of the soft tyres on, and we just have a straight sprint towards the end. This is what I mean. I said it a lot of times. I don't know how many times I can say it anymore. You need to keep it clean. But if you get any penalties, this is exactly what happens when there's a late safety car. It causes all sorts of problems, and I think we are going to see... Well, actually, no. Menno stays out. Well. I was about to say we're going to see everyone dive into the pits. Menno stays out. I mean, this is music to the ears of Asakome, who would have had to cope on them hard. So likewise with Law. Drivers, the game does let you serve your 5-second penalty under the safety car, which is a bit debatable, but there we go. Everyone changing onto a set of the soft tyres, you'd imagine. What can Menno de Bebe do? This could backfire hugely. We saw how quick a few drivers fell down the field earlier. It's a risk for Menno. It is a big risk. If this works, he gets the win. We have seen Connor at Japan hold off on the hard tyres. If this works for Menno, he could well get a victory. If it doesn't work, he's probably finishing down in, what, 9th position? VRT Law also going for the mediums. That's an interesting strategy for a man who I'm 99.9% certain started this race on a set of mediums, but definitely has a fresh set of the hard tyres left. Why would you not, with 9 laps remaining, at least one of them under the safety car, probably 2, why would you not go for a set of the soft tyres? Strange is all I can say maybe about that decision, but he'll have his reasons for doing it. There's a reason why I'm in the comms box and not racing, because I'd be about 4 laps down and definitely in the barrier by now. But Menno leads the race, the net leader though, on the soft tyres, and a man who I'm probably expecting to remain in the lead and take that lead pretty damn soon after the safety car comes in is Connor. Daniel is in second place, taking a big step towards the championship. McCrew is third, Ace fourth, Asakomi is sixth, then it's VRT Law, Skeletal Star, XL Ryan and Baraka Cap only flying his way around turn 5 now, whereas the rest of the drivers are through the final sector. So we know this lap the safety car won't be coming in. We're going to get then 7 laps of racing to decide the victory, 7 laps at the end of the next one to see if Menno de Beva can somehow hold on those medium tyres. And I wonder if he's just thinking, yeah, I should have maybe made the decision to come in. It's a brave choice to stay out. It could well work. As I said earlier, in Japan it worked for Connor, but I just can't see him being able to have the heat in those tyres to really do anything. When it comes out. I'd expect Connor and Daniel to get past him. I'd expect everyone down to VRT Law and possibly even the Haas drivers to get past him, and then Skeletor, Ryan and Baraka Cap will be putting him under a bit of pressure. We'll have a check what the penalties are like. There we go. Skeletor Star has 6 seconds. Ace, Law, Ryan and Baraka Cap have 10. Everyone else has kept it clean, but if they're not too far away from a penalty, that will cost them as well. With 7 laps to go, you've not really got much opportunity to pull away 3 seconds. You're definitely not going to have any opportunity to pick up more than that. But as long as Skeletor Star gets to the end with his 6 seconds, well, if he gets to the end, it'll be his second finish of the season and his first since Canada, and it would be his first points of the season. So I know I'm supposed to remain impartial, but I really hope he keeps it clean and gets his way to the end. It shows that persistence definitely pays off, as Baraka Cap is now just starting to cruise back around again. Any worries about fuel that the drivers have now gone out the window. They're going to have plenty of spare fuel. We've had 3 full safety cars, a virtual safety car as well. They should easily have 2-3 laps spare of fuel, so they'll be able to push in rich mode as much as possible towards the end. We are going to see plenty of overtaking in this final few laps. I can assure you, you're not going to want to miss out. Probably a bit too late to tell you to come in and make a cup of tea as well. You're not going to have enough time to do that. So get yourself a cold drink quickly, get yourself a glass of water and make sure you're comfortable. These final 7 laps are going to be absolutely fantastic. The safety car's still not saying that it's coming in. Has Baraka Cap driven slowly on purpose to stop the safety car coming in? I mean, yeah. It looks like he has done. The safety car's staying out. No, as I say that, safety car is coming in this lap. That is a very late call. A very late call and not a lot of time for these drivers, especially Menno, to get some heat into his tyres. So, Menno drives us away with 7 laps to go. You can see how much he's sliding on those old mediums. We are underway. Menno leads us across the line. He's not going to be in the lead for long because already Connor is right underneath his rear wing. 7 laps remaining. Connor going for the lead of this race here. You've got Ace going for a move on the through. Both McLarens could find themselves moving in a place, and in the end they both hold on for turn 2. There goes Ace all the way around the outside. Connor's gone down the inside. That is Connor in the lead of this race. McCrew still trying to fight back though, not able to do so. McCrew does hold on to 4th, so Connor leads, Menno 2nd, Daniel 3rd, McCrew is 4th, Ace 5th, Asakomi in 6th, VRT Law holding on to 7th, Skeletal Star is in 8th but has picked up another penalty. Then you've got Ryan in 9th, Baraka Cap in 10th. Daniel needs to get past Menno as soon as possible. He's already a second behind the Williams. And this strategy of staying on the mediums hasn't worked out. Oh, we've had a spin. And it is Skeletor Star spins round, no damage done. He's able to continue. And Menno not even really bothering to defend that. Lets Daniel take the place. That is the Alfa Romeo up into second. Already a second behind Connor. Needs to push as hard as he can to try and make that place back. XL Ryan all over the back of VRT Law. Again, a second behind those on the soft tyres. I do not get, especially if you're Law, that is a very late move from Ryan. That door was never really open for the Renault. Doesn't get any damage. Stays into 8th and he is coming into the pit. Surely he has a penalty to serve. Yes, he does. He has a 5-second penalty. Oh, he's just got himself a 5-second penalty and he retires from this race. So we're now down to down to 9 runners. All of a sudden here, Connor in the lead, 1.2 seconds ahead of Daniel. Menno is third, McCrew in fourth place. Ace fifth, Asakome is sixth, and I think we're soon going to see a swap maybe between the two McLaren drivers. McCrew on the faster soft tyres, Menno on older mediums, which are really going to be starting to struggle now to keep up their tyre grip. How long can he hold them off for? How long does he want to hold them off for? He wants to obviously stay ahead of Ace, Asakome and Law, but probably doesn't want to cause his teammates too many problems. Connor's just escaping down the road, 1.6 seconds. It looks like the battle for the win in the end is going to be a bit of an anticlimax because Connor has just gone and Daniel looking fairly safe as well. McCrew overtake on, no DRS until next time around, and Menno's definitely defending the position a bit harder than he was earlier. Still on the inside, a bit of contact between them. McCrew does get the move done though. He is now up into third and tries to set after Daniel and Connor, because you never know. Late penalties could well see a very late change in who is going to win this race, and now Menno is going to have to start defending from Ace, but he will have DRS to help him. Babakakap has worked his way past VRT Law, so that is the Alpha Tauri up into 7th place. Skeletor Star still going around at the back of the field, still drifting his way around these corners as well. As long as he doesn't crash though, he's guaranteed 2 points. DRS enabled them, just allowing Menno to hold on to that 4th place for now. Connor 2 seconds ahead with 5 laps remaining. Daniel is in 2nd place, 1.4 seconds ahead of McCrew. Then it is Menno, then Ace, then Asakome, who was caught up ever so slightly. He's having his best race really since round 3 of the rebooted season. He's having a really good race at this moment in time and could get his best finish since then. He hasn't scored points since that race in Mexico where he finished, scored points in USA with a 9th place, but that's been his only points in the last 7 races since a run of 3 points in a row since the season got rebooted. So a good return to form here for Asakome as he tries to secure that top 10 in the championship. Ace all over the back of Menno. Menno though with the DRS, he's running out of DRS, so he might still see a move here down the inside on the brakes into turn 13. That is a very late move there from Ace, and yeah, that was not really on. That's a couple of times now. We're starting to see a few moves that aren't really on. He should be able to get this down the inside. I think he's decided, yeah, I'll just wait to make sure I've got DRS and to make sure I'm not absolutely annoying Menno here. Connor with the fastest lap of the race. He's gone. He has checked out. He's taking this victory if he keeps it nice and clean, and with it, 3rd place in the championship. Now another opportunity for Ace. Again, slightly low on ERS is Menno, so he's going to have to go very defensive very early here and force the racing point all the way around the outside into turn 2. Menno still holds on to that position. Ace has to go over the corner ever so slightly, but he gets the move done. It's been a fairly decent debut so far. He's had a couple of spins, but he's kept it going. He is in 4th position, and now Asakome will see how quickly he can try and get past Menno de Baba. It does look as though if Asakome gets past Babakakap again, would it have been worth Menno coming into the pits on the soft tyres and seeing what he could have done? He'd have definitely been up there towards the podium. Who knows if he'd been able to get any more in the final few laps. We'll have to wait and see. Already Ace escaping his way forward, and again having a big oversteer moment there. Coming out of turn 10, Law picks up another 3-second time penalty, so that puts him onto 6 seconds for now. Ace has 3, so if Menno can stay in contact, he could still get a 4th place here. It's crucial for Asakome that he tries to get past Menno as quickly as possible, because he could have a 4th place, and that would be his best finish actually since round 1 of the rebooted season, so round 7 of the whole season at the Canadian Grand Prix, and would be a big relief after what didn't look like the best start of the race for the Ferrari driver. 3 laps remaining then. Connor 2 seconds ahead of Daniel, who has pulled out 3 seconds ahead of McCrew. The 3 podium runners having a bit of a lonely run now towards the rostrum, as Menno's having to go defensive on the inside here. Asakome all the way around the outside. He takes that 5th position. Now for Menno again, it's holding on. Can he hold on to the back of Babakakap? Can he hold on to within 3 seconds of Barakakap. There's a bit of a tap there, very awkward through turn 3. I think Menno wasn't expecting Barakakap to go that way, and they just ended up filling up the same piece of track. But this is really holding the pair of them up. Another penalty there for Ace, another spin for Skeletor Star. He's not enjoying this whatsoever, but fair play to him, he's carried on. I thought I was about to eat my words there. He's carried on where a few of the others have decided that they've had enough, and Skeletor's getting points. They're not going to. So Asakomi now a second behind Ace, who has 6 seconds of penalties, so Ace will, as it stands at the moment, be dropping down into 7th place. Barakakap round the outside of Menno into turn 13. Can't get the move done. Can he do the cutback? Through 14 to get a run down the inside into turn 15. Just a bit too far behind now, but he will have DRS next time around. It looks as though Menno is just going to be a bit too far back to take advantage of the drag reduction system. This should be a fairly straightforward pass for 2 laps to go for the AlphaTauri driver. Here we go then, you'll just see a slight flap open on that AlphaTauri, and you'll be able to see it a lot clearer now. There he goes, down the outside, into turn 2, gets the move done. Menno down into what should be a safe 7th place now for him, at least, could still, as long as he doesn't lose 3 seconds to Ace and Barakakap in the final 2 laps, could still get himself a top 5 finish. Just have to wonder what might have been if he'd have stayed on the soft tyres though. Skeletor Star into the pits. I imagine this will be for a final set of softs, just to see if he can maybe set the fastest lap towards the end, hopefully doesn't have any incidents. We've had quite a race of attrition here, 7 retirements, I believe only 3 or 4 of them in actual on-track incidents. We had Mr. Pop come together with Nuffle Beasley. That led to Nuffle retiring, Bullet Boy Ivan Backer in that huge crash with McCrew, and Harry having a big accident out of turn 2 through turn 3 as well. Ryan Janetsky and Mr. Pop retiring in the pit lane. Ace not looking too bad at the moment. He's closing up to McCrew ever so slightly. 1 lap to go at the end of this one. Oh, Asakomi's left the session. What a time to have a disconnect. Asakomi has left the session. He's going to get passed by Barakakap. He's coming into the pits as well. His AI car has absolutely shafted him. He might not get any points whatsoever from this race. Such a shame for him. We are on the final lap of this race though, and it is Connor in the lead by 1.7 seconds from Daniel. If Connor keeps it clean on this final lap, he will take the second victory. Skeletor Star picks up another penalty, but this looks a straightforward win for Connor. As straightforward as it can be after dropping down to 8th on lap 1, but it is a big step towards the championship now for Daniel. 32 points ahead with 2 rounds remaining. A second place and a fastest lap will secure him the championship next time out. A win, and there's nothing Just As can do. So it looks as though the Alfa Romeo will be the champion. Menno, he's holding on to Barakakap, and with that he's holding on to what is now, with Asakomi's unfortunate disconnection, it's going to be a 4th place for Menno Dibeba that he probably wasn't expecting after he dropped down the order earlier on. And what we really weren't expecting after the first few laps was Connor to take the victory. He had a terrible start, dropped down to 4th, a bit of contact dropped him to 8th place. He's worked his way up the order to be right behind Daniel after the second safety car, and he takes the victory with the fastest lap across the line. It's Connor who wins. Daniel in the 2nd place, a first podium of the season then for McCrew. A decent debut for Ace, but he will drop behind Barakakap and Menno Dibeba. Menno 4th, Barakakap 5th, Ace in 6th, VRT Law in 7th. Such a shame for Asakomi. His AI car will come across the line in 8th place, and it will be a final points finish, a first points finish of the season for Skeletor Star in the AlphaTauri. But your winner for the 2nd time this season, showing what he can do with his pace, pole position and the win, almost makes it sound straightforward. It was anything but for Connor. He takes the victory, and in doing so moves his way up into 3rd in the championship. Another podium there for Daniel. He's on a fantastic run now of podiums. It's his 8th this season in the last 11 rounds. His 6th in the last 7. 3 wins, 3 second places now in that run. That is why he is 32 points ahead, and that is why it is almost certain that he will be the champion. If not next time out, maybe at Brazil. But he was at number 1 today. That honour goes to Connor. Asakome getting driver of the day there. Imagine what could have been. He could have even finished in 4th position in the end, which would have been a very well-deserved result for him and moved him up slightly in the championship. But a great day for Connor to take the victory. Daniel pretty much taking one hand on the trophy now, and a 3rd position, a first podium of the season from a crew in his 2nd place as a reserve. And you've got to wonder, what could McLaren have done in the Constructors' Championship if he'd have been there at the start of the season? So the provisional results from this race then today: top 4 drivers keeping it clean. Connor, Daniel, McCrew, Menno de Bever finishing 4th in the end. Barakakap, his best result, I believe, his best result of the season in the end. Good job from him to come home in 5th. NER Race on his debut was 6th. VRT Law 7th. Asakomi's AI car came home in 8th. Skeletal Star was 9th. We saw XL Ryan, Harry, Janetsky, Iron Backer, Bullet Boy, Mr. Pop and Nuffle BC all retire from the race. I do wonder if we will see a few stewards' inquiries. I don't think we will for Ivan, Bullet Boy and McCrew. They seem to have already decided in the Discord between themselves that that was a racing incident, and I think that is fair enough. Didn't see what caused the start of the incident with Nuffle BC and Mr. Pop. We did see a bit of a contact between them, and that obviously led to the end of that. And that did lead to Nuffle retiring from the race. We saw Harry having a big crash and XL Ryan retiring after making a bit of contact with VRT Law, and I don't think he was too happy with that. So the driver standings, Daniel now has 187 points, Just As has 155 and needs to be within 26 points going into the final round to have any mathematical chance. Connor has now moved his way up the order. He is now up into 3rd place on 106 points. Mr. Pop XL stays in 4th on 105. And Menno de Bever, he is now on 98 in 5th place. So the battle for 3rd place is hotting up. Just as it looks as though the battle for 1st place might be ending a bit earlier than we expected. A fantastic job from Connor to take the win, but a 2nd place from Daniel means a victory next time out will secure him the championship. Will he win at Abu Dhabi, or will we go all the way to Interlagos? Make sure to tune in, same time, same place next week to the INL YouTube channel. But for myself, Luke Etheridge, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.